Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is my first video on this channel, and it's basically just all about misophonia. And I think the main thing everybody wants to know is, how do you cope with misophonia? It's one of the most annoying things in the world. It's made me personally fall out with friends and family just because of the pure rage that you feel. So if this is your first instance of it, or you've had it for a while and you just want to have some sort of grounding or coping techniques, then don't worry, you're not on your own. There's loads of people that have been here with you before and still are, and there's loads of new research coming out basically, and more people are understanding it. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. So the best way to deal with misophonia, and you'll be sad to know that it's no miracle cure or anything, but if someone comes into a room and they're eating something and they're annoying you, they're making a weird noise, breathing, sucking on something, typing, the best thing you can do is to get up and leave the room. And you might be able to come back in after a little while and withstand it for a little bit longer, but it's to just get yourself and just exit the room. Or, you can even, if you want to, if you're very aware of it, you can even just say, I'm just going to go off and do this. You're your own person. You don't need to worry about offending anybody, especially if they already know about it, about you having it. That is the best thing you can do. Just get out of there, go and do something for you, go and relax, put some headphones in, or just chill out for a bit, because it's not your fault that you feel this way. If you're thinking to yourself, yeah, but I don't want to leave the room, I need to stay in there, I shouldn't have to leave a room just because somebody's, eating a bag of crisps or something like that. The best way that I do it is I hear it and I'm aware of it. I know what misophonia is. I know it's making me angry, but just be aware that you can leave the room if you want to. You don't leave the room because you're wanting to stay in there. But if you have that allowance, you can see the door, just know that if you want to get out of there, you can. So there's no pressure keeping you there. You're staying there off your own accord. You're not trapped. There's nothing like it. You're sitting down, you're enjoying whatever you're watching or whatever you're doing. Someone's there making a hideous noise. But just try and see the funny side, or just accept that it's happening. It's not going to stop. They're not hurting anyone. It just aggravates you more than it does the average person. So just sit there and withstand it for as long as you possibly can. Be very aware that you can leave, but if you can withstand it like that, then absolutely go for it. Sometimes it works for me for a little while instead of just getting up and going, because that can seem a bit rude, I know. And other times it doesn't work, and if it's particularly bad, then I do just have to get up and leave, but at least you tried. The third thing I'd suggest is, if you're not very confrontational, then it might not be your favourite option, but it can really help. If you know that that person who's making a noise is kind and caring enough to understand your issues or things you just take issue with generally, usually a family member or a friend, and chances are the person sitting next to you is going to be one of those anyway, just take it up with them. Just say exactly how you're feeling. Remind them this is what you've got. Or if it's the first time, just tell them. And then if you're like, it doesn't sound like a real thing, look it up, or send them a link, or make them aware of what's happening. I had this instance at work. I joined a new company and made friends with the person sitting next to me, and they just kind of ate a little loudly, and I just mentioned it at some point. I just said, oh yeah, by the way, I've got this thing called misophonia, and it wasn't while they were eating. I didn't want to make them feel self-conscious, and then immediately they were like, oh, if I ever make that noise, just let me know. Often that will be the response. So do just let them know, and they might, try and lessen it. And I don't know if it's the same for all of you, but if someone knows and they're trying and they're aware of it and they're still making a bit of noise, but they know that they're trying not to, that is the absolute best thing. I can still hear it, but it makes me so much calmer. I think a lot of misophonia is just someone's making the noise and you think, how could someone be that inconsiderate to be making that noise? It's just, absolutely insane. But yeah, give that one a go. Another coping technique that works for me is usually it's when you have another focus while someone's making that noise, and they say, "Oh, focus on what you're doing. Focus on reading a book, or focus on watching the TV or something." And it's just like, yeah, but that's not enough. And I haven't heard of anybody else's experience with this, but from my own experience, if someone's sat there eating, go and get something to eat and sit next to them, and then you're making, if it's crisps or something, you're making the crunching noise as well, and you can hear your own noise. And it's just kind of like, oh, well, the noise they're making is not as bad anymore because I'm making the same noise and I have misophonia, so clearly it's not really their fault that they're making the noise, blah, 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 blah. Your mindset kind of changes a little bit when you realize how loud some foods kind of are. So if ever I'm watching a film with a family member or a friend or anything, I will go and get a snack at the same time that they do, just because it really drowns out their noise if you're making your own noise, and you kind of have a little bit of dawning realization that it's just not that bad. But granted, some people do make a disgusting amount of noise, which can't really be explained because it is quite something. And the last one from me, if you want to stay in the room, would be just to pop some headphones in. I've got like a pair of AirPods and I can just put them in, put the noise cancelling bit on, and it doesn't even have to be particularly loud music, just something in the background, something in the forefront of your hearing, so that maybe even if they spoke to you, you could still hear them really on a low level, but it's just something to break up that irritating noise. But I know generally, there's five coping techniques which help me, but I'm a realist with it, and I've had it. Well, I was first aware of it when I was around 6 or 7 years old, and I'm 26 now, so I've had it for about 20 years, and it does affect relationships, and it can make you seem really moody or grumpy. But honestly, the best thing is just to talk about it, and if they don't accept it or they don't take it well, then just revert to another step. Just go back, maybe leave the room, put some headphones in, do whatever you can, just to get away from that noise if they're not being considerate of your feelings. But again, it's not your fault that you're feeling that way. It's just another thing. It's like anxiety, ADHD, things like that. You can't help having it. There's therapies for that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's your brain makeup. So yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see any more kind of helpful videos, or even if you just want something to relate to, I'll be here with a few more uploads coming your way soon. So thanks very much, and I'll see you again very soon.